How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're in a battle versus Cody from the Battle Hub Discord. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It is the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There's a link in the description down below. And friendly reminders, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on our way to 20k by the end of the year, and I'd love for you to be a part of that journey. So looking at that team, it looks like a bit of a sun team. So we can expect Chlorophyll on the Lilligant, Walking Wake and Roaring Moon to take advantage, and then just in case they don't need the sun, I guess they've got Chilly Reception on the Galarian Slowking to maybe reset the sun so they can bring Ninetales in. That's a good tactic. I think Hitmonlee has a good chance of doing something good here if we can get that on Burden Boost, because they have no Ghost types for a start. They have no, other than Galarian Slowking, they have no fighting resists, so we should actually be alright. I think they lead with Ninetales, so I'm half tempted to lead with Iron Treads, get off that Earthquake real quick, or the Galvantula for the nice and powerful Volt Switch. I think I'm going to go with the Iron Tread switch first, just to counteract their Ninetales lead, because they basically have to go with Ninetales, surely. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Cody. So they're going to lead off with Ninetales as expected. Nice and shiny, gotta love it. As we lead off with the Iron Tread. So I could go straight for the Earthquake real quick, take care of this thing. It doesn't look like they've got really much hazards on the team, so Gastrodon's probably got Stealth Rocks maybe. I'm going to go straight for an Earthquake. I don't see any real reason not to. It does invite... Oh, they stay in. They stay in for the Earthquake. And they do not appreciate that Earthquake one bit. But looking at the team, they don't really have a good Earthquake switch, and even Gastrodon's probably two-shot if it's specially defensive, so that's fair enough. Walking Wake comes in, so they get a free switch into their Walking Wake now. Iron Treads did good there. We got a KO early on, which is great. Walking Wake is massive as well. It's quite crazy how massive it is. So we have got an opportunity to switch here. I am going to go Slowking, and I'm going to go for that Chilly Reception to get rid of this sun straight away. Hopefully we can live a Hydro Steam. It doesn't two-shot us. We are specially defensive, so I'm hoping that means we can take it, but you never know. So let's see how this plays out for us. So they go for a Hydro Steam. If the Choice Specs, it'll two-shot us. Looks like they're not Choice Specs, which is great. Absolutely fantastic, even. We're going to get some Leftovers recovery, and again, if you're wondering why I'm running Leftovers over Black Sludge, it's because if I need to Terra, like Terastal, I can get away with, because Black Sludge will damage me if I go Terastal. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say. So let's go for a Chilly Reception, get on out of there. They do go for another Hydro Steam just to get as much damage off as possible on my Slow Queen, which is fair enough. And we're going to tell a chillingly bad joke, make it snow for some reason. There we go. And then we're going to switch on out of there while the snow is up. So we now, their Photosynthesis has wore off. We know we can outspeed them with stuff now, which is great. So let's see how that plays out for us. So I'm leaning towards the Galvantula, leaning towards the Dragapult. I think Dragapult is the way to go, so I'm going to go for the Dragapult. They have to be careful what they do here, because I could be physical or special for all they know. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drop a Draco. Because even if they're Choice Scarf, which I doubt they would be, they're locked into Hydro Steam. So we know we outspeed them here. Let's drop a Draco real quick. No real reason not to. They do withdraw the Walking Wake. Are they going to go the Slowking route? Probably, right? Gastrodon. So Gastrodon must be specially defensive. Unless, of course, it's physically defensive and they're expecting a physical move. So Draco Meteor comes through. Does well over half, which is fantastic work from the Dragapult. Let's go for another Draco Meteor. It should finish off the Gastrodon from here. They may stay in, they may not. They do withdraw the Gastrodon, which is fair enough. They're going to go into Slowking probably. Yep, Slowking comes in. Nice and quick ball as well. Nice and shiny. I love shiny Galarian Slowking. It's just the little jewel on its head that goes red, really. That's the only thing that's different. That still does a lot of damage considering we had a special attack Harshly Fell. So they know we're Choice Specs now, which is fine. I don't mind that. Now I'm going to go into my Iron Treads once again, because once again, they do not have an Earthquake switch other than Lilligant, and then we just outspeed the Lilligant and go for an Ice Spin to KO it. So it's like, what are they going to do? So we float in the over Air Balloon. They go for a Flamethrower on the switch, which is a good play, because it's going to do over half. And I'm guessing they're more of an offensive set. That's why the Draco Meteor did so much, and why that Flamethrower did so much as well. So, I'm looking at this matchup, I'm thinking we could go for a knockoff here, potentially knock off the Lilligant's item. I feel like they do switch in the Lilligant here. So I am going to go for the knockoff real quick. They do withdraw the Slowking. Are they going to go with the Lilligant switch, though? That's the real question. Or are they sacking off something? They go Walking Wake. So Walking Wake comes on in. We go for a knockoff. It's going to do a decent chip damage to it, and we knock off their wise glasses, which is interesting. So the snow is going to stop, but that's no big deal. All we need to do now is switch on in our Slowking to take a hit, and then we chilly reception out. So I'm going to go with the Slowking switch. I know Iron Treads doesn't outspeed Walking Wake, so I don't want to go for an Earthquake. Iron Treads is very important in this game for taking care of that Galarian Slowking, etc, etc, etc. So let's get this in. They go for a flip turn on the switch, which is fine. They probably bring in the Roaring Moon right now, and they probably go for either a knockoff or a Dragon Dance. I cannot afford them going for getting a free Dragon Dance off, that's for sure. So they actually bring in Slowking of their own. Interesting. So they bring in their own Slowking, which is fine. They bring in their own Slowking. We just go for a chilly reception, surely. I'm guessing they're nasty plot variants. Or we go for a future sight. No. Let's go for a chilly reception and get on out of there. Drip Queen goes first, unfortunately, which means that they are slower than us, which is good to know. And we're going to switch on out real quick, and we're going to go into something to take care of the Slowking. I am leaning towards Iron Treads again. If they predict the switch and go for a Flamethrower, then so be it, but I think they won't. So I'm going to go into Hot Wheels real quick, beat that. There we go. They go for a Side Shock, which is going to bounce right off Iron Treads, no problems there. Bounces right off us. As we can now go for an EQ, I am going to go straight for the EQ. So they are going to withdraw the Slowking. They don't want to get smacked in the face with an Earthquake, which makes a lot of sense. And they're going to go into Gastrodon to sack it off. So Iron Treads is putting the pressure on their team a little bit. This may be an Iron Treads video. So let's go for the Earthquake. Take out this Gastrodon, no problems there. And then they get a free switch in with the Lilligant if they want to, or the Roaring Moon if they really want to. Okay, Walking Wake comes in. Now, Walking Wake is an interesting one. They could go for a flip turn to KO us here, and they probably will go for a flip turn. And I don't want the Roaring Moon getting a free switch in. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stay in an Earthquake. And the reason being is that I might be wrong about Iron Treads not outspeeding Walking Wake for a start. I don't think it does, though, as they go for a Draco Meteor, which is fantastic. So the reason that's fantastic is because now we get a free switch in with whatever we want against the Walking Wake, because they've got lowered special attack, and we know they're not Wise Glasses anymore. So, knowing they haven't got a ground type anymore, I say we go into Galvantula or Lycanroc. Lycanroc. I think we're going to go Dragapult switch. I don't really see Galvantula being too useful this game. It may be able to get a KO on the Lilligant with a Bug Buzz or the Roaring Moon with a Bug Buzz. But even then, we don't outspeed the Roaring Moon, so it's no big deal. So let's go for a... I don't think they let Walking Wake go down here. So I say we go for a U-turn here. So we actually stay in, which is interesting. Despite being low on special attack, they actually stay in and probably go for a flip turn here. So that's a really good play on my opponent's behalf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a Lomomola in. I'm going to punish that flip turn by getting some Rocky Helmet chip. So I'll bring in the Palindrome. They do go for another Draco, though, which is going to do minimal damage because I'm actually EV invested in special defense and defense with no health investment because it doesn't really need it. It's got a lot of health. So let's go for a flip turn real quick. They go for a flip turn of their own. They're going to get some Rocky Helmet chip, which is nice. And then they're probably going to bring in the Slowking, I would say, or the Lilligant. Probably the Lilligant, if I had to guess, because it's a grass type. In comes the Slowking. So Slowking's a good one. Slowking's a very good one. We go for a flip turn. We're going to get on out of there, do a bit of chip damage to the Galarian Slowking. So I'm actually leaning towards going into Hitmonlee right now. I think Hitmonlee could finish this thing off with a Fake Out Earthquake combination. It could. But we don't know what that Roaring Moon is. It could be Terra Flying with Dragon Dance. So I'm still leaning towards the Hitmonlee, though. I'm still leaning towards the Hitmonlee. I think I'm going to go the Hitmonlee route. Kickstarter's going to come in now. There we go. The snow does stop. We're going to go for a Fake Out with normal gem boosted. And then we'll go for an EQ. So we'll go for a Fake Out first. Powered by normal gem, which is amazing. Which is going to activate our Unburden. And looking at that damage from a normal gem Fake Out, I would say that we're not actually going to KO with Earthquake here. So I might Terra. I may just Terra. Just so that we can live a Side Shock from this thing. So I am going to Terra Steel. I'm going to Earthquake. So there we go. Terastalizing into a Steel type will protect us from that Side Shock. It'll still do some nice chip damage. because it's still frail, very frail on the defensive side Pokemon. Hitmonlee's actually got a surprisingly decent natural special defense, but because they've got Size Shock with Hitch on the physical side, then it's going to do a lot of damage. So we go for an EQ, doesn't quite get the KO, which is what I was expecting. They go for a Size Shock, and it should bounce off us. It does bounce off us nicely. So with a 2-hit KO, which is great. So looking at their team now, I would say it's time for an Earthquake again. So we take out the Slowking with an Earthquake. With Hitmonlee, good old Hitmonlee. Slowking goes down. And now I'm leaning towards expecting them to go Roaring Moon and Tera Flying. That's what I'm expecting. So Lilligant of the Distant Past comes in. This thing may be Focus Sash. It could also be Heavy Duty Boots. I'm leaning towards a close combat right now. I am going to go for a close combat right now. If they Terra Ghost or Terra Fairy, I'm going to be a bit peeved. But I don't think they do. No, they don't. So we go for a close combat. It's easily going to take them down to the Sash. They may go for a Victory Dance here just to get the speed boost and then outspeed us the next turn. But it's very likely we have Bullet Puncher for Terastal, which I do. So they just go straight for a close combat. And that's going to take out our Hitmonlee. So Hitmonlee did good. It took out the Slowking. And it severely weakened the Lilligant. So Hitmonlee did good this game, I would say. It's not like amazingly good. But I think it did well. I think it and Iron Treads have done really well this game. So, looking at the teams now, I would say our best bet is probably Galvantula because Galvantula outspeeds Lilligant, I believe. So we should go Galvantula right now. So there we go. Widow's going to come in. Like so. And then we just go for a Bug Buzz. There's no real reason not to go for a Bug Buzz right now. So we go for a Bug Buzz. That takes out the Lilligant, no problem. Galvantula is looking pretty good right now as well. But Lilligant is out of the way, and that is potentially a big threat with our Victory Dance. But I think we're going to be alright, because they don't necessarily know what set we are. So they're going to bring in the Walking Wake. Walking Wake definitely wants to fire a Draco Meteor or a Hydro Steam. So I'm going to go back into Slowking, and then I'm going to go for a Chilly Reception to get out of there, just because we can. So in comes Drip Queen real quick. They may go for a Flip Turn here, expecting us to switch. If they do, that's a good play. But they actually go for a Flamethrower, which isn't going to do much to Slowking at all, which is great. Absolutely fantastic for us. So, with that in mind, let's go for a Chilly Reception now, just to get the, yeah, the Hydro Steam's coming through. They are really just trying to get as much damage off on the Slowking as possible, but we are going to tell a chillingly bad joke right now. Like so. Make it snow. And then we're going to get on out of there real quick. So, Galarian Slowking, see you later, Alligator. In a while, Crocodile. And then what we'll do is we'll just go into, what do we go into here? Do we go into the, yeah, I think we go Dragapult. Dragapult puts a lot of pressure on the team. So, we'll go into Dragapult. Like so. And then we'll go straight for a Draco Meteor. They can't just hard switch their Roaring Moon in, that's for sure. So we go for a Draco. That's going to take out the Walking Wake. And you got to remember they haven't Terra'd yet. So Roaring Moon could potentially bring this back for them. But we do have Alomomola in the back, which can just kind of wall this thing to an extent. So Roaring Moon comes in. It's nice and shiny. Got to love it. They probably, yeah, they get a booster energy in. What is it going to be? Is it going to be attack or speed? Speed. So they outspeed us. They definitely outspeed Dragapult. But because I don't want them to Dragon Lance on me, I'm going to go for a Draco Meteor now. They are going to Terastalize. Is it going to be the Flying type Terastalization? I hope it is. And not Fairy. It's Fire. Okay, so that's still the same. Still the same. If anything, that's even better, because it means the Melomomola's Scalds are going to do super effective damage. So they go for a Dragon Dance, which is great for them. It's going to boost their attack and speed. We're going to fire off a nice Choice Specs Draco Meteor at them. Even if it's a -2 special attack, it still does a lot of damage. And it makes it so that we can just go for another Draco Meteor. They go for another Dragon Dance. All we need to do is weaken this thing to the point where Alomomola can come in. And either Rocky Helmet Chip gets them. Or, there we go, Roaring Moon. Nicely done. Nice bit of chip damage there. Let's go for another Draco Meteor. They actually can get another Dragon Dance, but they're not going to do it because if they risk it too much for a Biscuit, it's like, it's not going to work out for them. So, now that Dragapult is down, we can just bring in Alomomola, and I'm hoping that Alomomola, I said it right. I'm hoping that Lomomola can live a knockoff from this thing or an outrage. So we'll go into Palindrome. We already Terra'd, so I can't go for my Terra Fairy option. So let's go for a Skull and hope for the best. They go for a knockoff. Is it going to KO us? No, it doesn't. Rocky Helmet hurts them. And then a Lomomola gets the final KO with a Scold, easily taking care of the Roaring Moon. So that was brilliant. That was a good game, that was. GG Cody, I enjoyed that one. Definitely enjoyed that one. It's a tie between Hitmonlee and Iron Treads for the MVP for the thumbnail, so I'll decide later. I'll speak to Cody about it and see what he thinks. So yeah, GG Cody. But anyway, here is the team tryout. If you want to, use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.